Good to go? Okay, guys, we have with us KL Rahul. As usual, we'll take one question at a time. Who wants to go first? Yes, please.
Hello. Yeah, Kale, just want to ask that how difficult it is for you, sometimes seven, sometimes six, sometimes five. In last 5 to 6 games, you only, played once in your position. And is there any update on Rohit or Shami or any other fitness issues in the team?
Yeah, look, I mean, it's never easy for um, anyone on the team to be moving in different places. But yeah, that's how the game goes. Whatever the team thinks is the best possible combination and what they feel is the best entry points for player. You leave it up to the team to decide, and you just try and do your job. And yeah, that's what I'm focusing on. Yeah, fitness wise, I think there's no. I don't know too much, but from whatever I know, I think everything seems pretty okay. There's no real concerns about anyone missing games. As far as I know, we'll probably know more in today's training. Um, yeah, everyone's been in the gym. Everyone's been at training the last time as well. So yeah, little some concerns, but I don't think it's too much.
हाय राहुल भाई, आपने एक मैच में बैटिंग की, दूसरे मैच में बैटिंग नहीं आई। सरफेस के बारे में आप क्या कहेंगे, क्योंकि इंडिया अपने सारे मैचेस दुबई में खेला, ऑल्दो डिफरेंट पिचेस है, बट सरफेस के बारे में आप क्या कहेंगे? इज इट रियली डिफिकल्ट? मिडिल ओवर्स में बॉल थोड़ा रुक कर आता है, क्या आपने असेसमेंट किया?
वही जो आपने असेसमेंट किया है कि स्लो है विकेट, गोइंग गोइंग इन जो भी नया बैटर जाता है तो ही फाइंड्स इट वेरी डिफिकल्ट टू रोटेट द स्ट्राइक एंड द पेस ऑफ द विकेट इज स्लाइटली डिफरेंट टू जो हम खेल के आए हैं अभी, जो इंग्लैंड सीरीज हमारा हुआ था. सो इट टेक्स अ लिटिल बिट ऑफ टाइम टू गेट यूज टू इट, बट गुड थिंग ये है कि हम लोग ने पहले भी दुबई में खेला हुआ है और ऐसे पिचेस पे खेले हमने, तो वी हैड अ फेयर अंडरस्टैंडिंग दैट जब यहाँ आएंगे हम तो यही चैलेंज आएगा. सो वी वर mentally a little bit prepared and we came here a week early, so जो practice हमारा चल रहा था वहाँ पे भी wickets ऐसे ही थे, तो so it just gave us a little bit of time to get used to it. And yeah, we I think ऐसे विकेटों पे whoever's the जो हम लोग बात कर रहे हैं कि जो भी set batter है, the longer he plays, the better it is for the team, and that's what gives you that extra 30-40 runs. क्योंकि अगर wicket जाता रहेगा, the new batters will find it a bit difficult.
Rahul, due to Pakistan-Afghanistan bilateral series over the last decade, New Zealand has had a lot of experience playing in these conditions. I mean, obviously, some of the names have changed, but how formidable a side do you think they're going to be, and how seriously are you taking them?
Yeah, we don't take anyone lightly, especially in this competition. It's my first Champions Trophy, and what I've realized is things happen really quickly. It's not like the World Cups where you're playing every team and you at least get 7 or 8 games. So even if you don't start well, there's always an opportunity for you to come back into the tournament. But in this tournament, it's just really hard. You need to be really switched on, and there's no game is easy, or no team can be taken lightly. So yeah, that's how we've looked at things. And New Zealand has always been a very formidable team and very competitive team. They've done really well over the years. We've had a lot of we've played against them a lot of times in ICC events as well, and they've done well against us. It's been quite even, the contest. So yeah, day after should be no different. I think it'll be another competitive game.
Hi, Kale. Kale, you just mentioned that there are no fitness concerns, but as a group, since there is very little turnaround time between the last group game and the semi-final, so is there a temptation just to kind of rest a couple of players or probably test players who have been on the bench for the first 2 games, just keeping the turnaround time between the semi and the last group game in mind?
Yeah, look, luckily I'm not in the leadership group to have to make that decision, but I'm sure there will be some temptation, and we've been in these positions before where if there's an opportunity where you can try out the players who haven't gotten games, they do get a game. But I don't know if that will happen in a Champions Trophy, and I don't know don't know if that will happen in tomorrow's game because, like you said, we only have 1 day's break before the semi-final. So we've gotten 6-day break now. So we probably want all of the players to play the game and get a little bit of time in the middle. And this is my version. I don't know, might be very different tomorrow.
Rahul, I saw somewhere that you spoke about Shami being the most difficult bowler to face and to keep wicket to. What is it that makes it difficult to keep to him or to bat against him? And how far do you think he's away from his best if he's already not there?
The tough thing against Shami to wicket keep is every game he'll. Yeah, the tough thing wicket keeping to Shami is, funnily somehow in every game he'll make sure that I'm diving full length in one or two. He gives me 1 or 2 opportunities to be brilliant behind the stumps or look stupid sometimes. With wicket keeping, I think how one of the few bowlers that the ball really wobbles. Him and sometimes Bumrah when he bowls in the second or third spell. I don't know what it has to do with anything, but he gets the ball to wobble behind the stump as well. So that's been very challenging. I think as a bowler, he's very accurate. That's something that not many people talk about. Everyone talks about how he's gifted and how he can get the ball to seam in any condition and how upright his seam is, but not many people talk about how accurate he is and how sharp he is. He can surprise you with his pace. Just the other day in the nets, he hit me straight in the badge. All of these things make him a very difficult bowler to play against. And I think he's built up really nicely, and it's really hard and being away from the game and the injury that he had was I was there in NCA for some time, so I had spoken to him and I know how difficult it has been, but he's worked really hard. He stayed disciplined, which is the hardest thing to do when you're injured and away from the game for so long. So really happy to have him back, and I think he's very close to his best. Push लीजिए sir.
Considering what happened with India since 21, World Cup didn't qualify, Asia Cup did not good enough for us. Do you think the team you are in a happy situation to be now going to the semi-final? One more match to go, you're already in the semi-finals.
Sir, honestly, we, at least for me, I have not thought about the things that have happened in the past and us not qualifying, and those are things that did affect us back then, and it wasn't a pleasant time for any of us players to not be in the semi-finals or do well in big competitions. But I think we've learned from that, and we've in the last 2 or 3 ICC events we've done really well. We've performed really well. So we're just taking it as it comes. We're not thinking about what happened in the past or the good things or the bad things. Just what's important is to stay in the present, and day after's game is all we're thinking about. And once that gets over, then we'll think about semi-finals and finals. And that's a good thing. I get the sense within the team that everyone's quite relaxed and quite balanced, and everyone's only thinking and talking about the game that is in front of us and not about winning semi-finals or finals or any of that. We're just taking it one game at a time. Yeah, the challenge, like I just said, on these wickets have been that rotating the strike as soon as you go in against spinners or fast bowlers has been a little bit of a challenge. So once those dot balls start to pile up on a batsman, obviously the pressure builds up, and you have to play that big shot or you have to play a release shot, and that obviously gives the opposition and the bowlers an opportunity. So that has been the challenge, but we've all got a little bit of time in the middle, and we're trying to find ways to see how we can rotate the strike a lot more. We're all very happy hitting boundaries and scoring boundaries, but on this wicket that's very difficult. So we have to make sure that the dot ball percentage is really less, and then the risks that you take are the opportunities that you're going to take is suited for this type of wicket again and against a certain bowler. So those are the talks that we are having within the batting group and see how we can move the fifth fielder around, and that gives us opportunity to rotate the strike. But yeah, and like I said, if the top order batters or the batters who are set can go on and get big runs, it just becomes easier for the number 5, number 6 batters or lower order batters who go into bat. Will have a little less pressure.
Is it added pressure to have someone of Rishabh's talent breathing down your neck, or I mean, there is an upside given that you have very little margin for it?
There is, I won't lie. I mean, he's obviously very, very talented player, and he's shown all of us what he can do and how aggressive and how quickly he can change the game. So yes, there's always that temptation for the team as well. Whoever's the captain, the coach, to there's always that temptation to either play him or play me. There's always that, but. Yeah, for me, if I'm given the opportunity, I try and see what I can do best. I'm not trying to compete with Rishabh, or I'm not trying to play like him. Or when he gets his opportunities, I'm sure he's not going to try to play like anybody else. He's picked on the basis of how he can play and what he can provide for the team, and the same applies to me. So I try and do what I do best and try and stick to my game.
Is there certain shots that you basically like all that wants to, especially the spinners, to create this scoring pockets? Because it's not been easy to get.
Yeah, like I just said, it's very individual. Again, we are having chats within the group and seeing like whoever's batted a lot. Shubman's batted a lot on that wicket. Virat batted quite a lot in the last game. Shreyas has been there. So just to go and speak to them and see, I'm sure they've gone through that same challenge as someone like me, Hardik or Jaddu when we walk in, or Akshar when we walk in. It's harder for us. So just speaking to them and seeing what they did, or where were the areas they were trying to target, whether they were trying to target square of the wicket or play much straighter. So those are the kind of conversations you have, and then it's very individual. You see what suits you best. Someone might like sweeping and reverse sweeping. Someone might like playing an aggressive shot straight down the ground, or someone might like playing off the back foot. So it's again, the plans always revolve around what the individual is good at and what their skill set is good at. So yeah, that's something that we talk about, and then we try and practice that, and then go in the middle, and then hopefully use that practice to good effect.
World Cup final was one such innings where there's still a lot of trolling that happens. How do you deal with that kind of trolling when it happens, and people questioning your strike rate and stuff? So I'm asking you, a lot goes around that. How do you as a batsman deal with it?
Yeah, look, it's been there for quite a few years, so I'm quite used to seeing it and hearing it and reading about it. Yeah, and sometimes I just sit back and see whether the criticism is valid, and if for instance you've only written the same thing, and if that makes for a good point, or if what you're writing or saying is valid given the game scenario, given what situation of the game I played in and how I played that innings, and if I go back and think, oh, okay, yes, I could have played a bit more faster, then that's something that I'll take into my training sessions next time and work on it and then get better. Yeah, so again, that's not something that I try to think about when I go into a game, that I need to up my strike rate, or I need to play for what is being written or what is being spoken about me. I try and see what the best thing is for the team and for me to do in that scenario, and I try and do that. And not always am I going to be right. I will fail sometimes. I will make mistakes. I will make mistakes in reading the game, and that's the beauty of sport. And for me, if my heart is in the right place, and if I'm thinking that this is the best way for me to win the game, then I can go back home and sleep peacefully. But I mean, yes, I do read about it, and if it's valid, then I'll take into account. Yeah.
In the next switch, you got twice your right, every shot on the ball, fantastic timing, consistently big sixes. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're getting enough balls to finish in the match. I mean, you finished off one match, didn't get a chance in the second match. For a player of your skill and your experience, is there like I know there's no ideal situation in cricket, but is there an ideal zone where you like to keep what's happening in the nets into the match? You just have a set amount of overs to face or balls to face. Because you're batting frankly in a very tough, often high risk position, six.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think anyone prepares for an ideal scenario. All of us prepare for a realistic scenario that we might walk in, and what is the scenarios that I might face most times. And batting at number 6 now, most times I might be walking in with 8 overs to go, 10 overs to go, 12 overs to go, not more than that. Ideally, not more than that if we batted really well. So that's something that I've realized in the last 6-7 months of, I've moved from number 5 to number 6 and sometimes at number 7. So I realized when I go in that that's something that I need to have that skill set to go in and be able to hit sixes probably from ball 1, or sometimes be able to play with a really high strike rate. That is the need of the hour. So that's why you see me practicing all of that. As soon as I go in, I challenge myself to see if I can hit a 6 of the first couple of deliveries, or if I can hit boundaries. How many boundaries can I hit in the first 10 balls? Try and practice with an older ball. Try and practice on a slow pitch. That's more realistic to what I might get here. So that's what I try to do. And that's the only way you give yourself the best chance to succeed in a game and do what the team is expecting of you. If there's a different scenario that comes, if I walk in earlier, then I try and manage and adjust my game accordingly. Yeah. Oh. No, that's a lot of ODI games and a lot of international games, and he's been, words fall short to express how good a player he has been and what a great servant of Indian cricket has been. Really happy to see that he got the 100 last game as well, and he's been batting really well. And for a player of his caliber, it was about time that he scores that big century and a match-winning century. It's a great place for us as a team to be in, where Rohit's in real good form, Shubman's in real good form, Virat is in real good form, Shreyas has played and done his part as well. He got a good 60 last game, and even against England, he was striking the ball really well. So overall, the team's looking really good, and Virat obviously is a very important part of the team. Virat and Rohit, they're the senior players, and you're always looking up to them to step up and score when the big games come, and that's what they've been able to do for so many years. So hopefully there's many more hundreds left for him and many more games of international